What is going on, everybody? Zach RC here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode number 24 today of the F1 2021 driver career for season 1, round number 12, the Italian Grand Prix. I'm getting back to this series once again. It's another case of me just dropping off with the driver career stuff. I do keep trying to get back to it every time. I do appreciate the support on each one of these, and I do enjoy making them. So we're going to keep on going and definitely try to continue to make it to the end of the season. Alright, so a couple of weeks ago, after the last round, I put a poll up on my community tab saying about signing for another team, because I put up 2 polls. One of them saying about signing for whether I want to sign for a new team or stay with Alpine, and you guys have chosen for me to sign with another team. So we are going to leave Alpine in the dust here. I'm going to sign for one of these top teams. Of the 5 I chose, you guys went with McLaren. McLaren was the team that you wanted me to sign for the remainder of the season, with 44% of your votes. So we're going to try and get a deal out of them. Hopefully we'll be able to be a McLaren driver for this episode and for this episode onward. So this is the first time we're going for one of these contract approaches. So we're going to try for a medium risk one, I reckon, here. Just so we can try and get, I mean, we could go for a low risk one, but I do reckon a medium one is more likely when it's going to be at. So we're going to go at it, see if it works. You know, send over the demands, and we could be a McLaren driver here. And we are! We've successfully negotiated a seat with McLaren F1 team for the next 9 race weekends. So that'll last us until the end of the season. That expires on Monday the 13th of December, but that is it. So we've done it. So we're now a McLaren driver, and we've got some money in our perk fund now, which we only actually have enough for. All we can afford is media coaching level 1. So we're going to put that in. 225,000. That's all of our money gone right there, and that's that. The transfer is complete, and we are now McLaren drivers or a McLaren driver for this for the remainder of the season. So new situation in the case of R&D. Of course, these guys are way further ahead of Alpine. So just for the record, guys, the aim at the start may have been just to try and get Alpine to the top, but mainly the aim is to become a world champion. It doesn't really matter with what team. And in all fairness, we could have gone to Mercedes, we chose not to. So I decided to leave it to you guys. You guys chose McLaren, and that's where we're at. So here we go then. Without further ado, enough of the driver transfer stuff. Let's jump right in to the race weekend. Alright, so here we are then, in the McLaren workstation for the first time, getting ready for the start of free practice. Of course, the driver moves. There's only one set of transfers, and that's us going to McLaren, replacing Lando Norris. So Ricciardo's going to be our teammate for the rest of the season, and Norris will be moving to Alpine to replace our seat. So, of course, we've got the weekend preview as always. That goes through. Got a couple of development updates. We're working on that powertrain issue there. We got the repair going. Weather forecast from Jeff looks all good. Current state of R&D, it looks like they had an error in the last race in Zandvoort. We also had an error, if I'm not mistaken. So that we'll get work on that. We're going to jump into first practice. Quick practice as always, and see how we get on here. So we're going to choose a start with race strategy. Of course, it's always got the 15-minute one to start off. So we're going to start on time management here and get one out the gates right there. So that's a nice little learner on the first one done. And we're trying for race strategy now, so we can get 2 things done in this session. So that's not too bad. We could try for this second one in race strategy. We're going to try it's a aerodynamics upgrade if we succeed, and we do succeed, or it's a discount. And we've managed to get it, so not too bad a start there. So 2 on race strategy, 1 on time management. I feel like we'll focus on equaling those 2 out during this session, during this second practice session. So we're gonna go back to time management here and go for this chassis discount. 7 minutes down, and that's another one done. So that's 2 on each. And we're back to race strategy here. Get 100 resource points if we get this one done, and we do 70% chance of success. And they're being nice to us today. Another aero discount incoming, and we get it there as well. So we're 3 on 3. For both of those 2, and we're working on qualifying pace in the 3rd and final practice session of the race weekend. So just giving over to qualifying pace. It's mainly durability discounts if we can nail these. So decent start, 100% success right out the gate. Just a 10-minute one here, 70% chance of success, and that's number 2. Could we get a 3rd one here, and could we have time for a 4th on one of these? We've got a 3rd one here. Do we have time to get a 4th one anywhere? There's something open, and it might. I think it's in time management, and there we go. It is in time management. It's 25% chance of success. Could we get it out of 4th one's time management? We can't. 25% success, just not doing its job. Well, it is doing its job. We've got 3 on each. Though. That's still pretty pleasing. I'm pleased to see that. We've got 400 resource points for us, and Daniel brought in another 500, so that's 900 going in the bank. We've got just under 2k, which we can spend on upgrades later on. And of course, we've got the development boosts here, mainly on aero, chassis, and a couple on durability from qualifying pace. So those should hopefully help us out over the course of the season. Of course, we're going to need these upgrades. And then our driver acclaim increased a little bit. We've got driver acclaim 9 now. Alright, so we're going to jump in with the last few miles just before we get set for the race. Our pre-race email, as always, quick scroll through. We are actually still rivals with Fernando ALONSO, our former teammate, but that rivalry will soon be over with, I'm assuming. So without further ado, you guys, let's get into this race, our first race for McLaren.
Welcome back to one of only 2 countries that has held a race every year since the very first Formula One World Championship in 1950. It is, of course, Italy, one of the great racing nations. And it's time to get underway for the Italian Grand Prix. With top speeds reaching 215 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest circuit in F1. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6-mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some closer action. Alongside me once again for coverage of today's race, it's none other than the great Anthony Davidson. Why don't we discuss McLaren? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and Cohen completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, and Sainz, Leclerc, Gasly, Ricciardo, and Yuki Tsunoda, Vettel, Norris, Fernando Alonso, and Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, Stroll, George Russell, and Mick Schumacher, Latifi, and Nikita Mazepin. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
And hopefully get that top 10 finish we will. I mean, we've had a great qualifying here for McLaren. Our first race for the team, lining up on the front row alongside Valtteri Bottas for the Italian Grand Prix. Of course, look back to the actual 2021, Ricciardo took victory, and we're in Lando's car, so this could still bode well for us. I'm definitely looking forward to this one. Regardless, the strategy is all set, and we're ready to go now for 5 red lights for our first race for McLaren, the Italian Grand Prix, starting from second on the grid. Great opportunity to get on the podium. Lights out, and we're underway, and it's a great getaway on the right-hand side. Bottas got really bogged down. We're using the ERS at the start on the charge towards turn 1. Bottas is starting to get his stride back. He's there on our outside going into the first corner. He's going to brake way earlier than we do, and we go into the first corner in the lead of the Italian Grand Prix, and we're absolutely away, absolutely sending it away from the rest of the pack. Perez and Bottas left in our wake as we make our way through Curva Grande for the first time, doing absolutely amazing here. Perez closing back in, so he could try and make a move into the next chicane. We have to be very careful. Perez looks outside. He's definitely within a car length of us. He has to back out. He brakes earlier than we do, and we go over the chicane and stay in the lead here. We have to be careful though, because when we get out of these next two right-handers, the 2 Lesmers, Perez is going to be all over us on the way down towards the Scari, so we have to be very, very careful there in the way of defence. We don't want to end our race too early. Of course, we're in the lead here. This is a golden opportunity to try and win. So here we go now, down the straight towards the Scari. When we get to lap 3, we'll have DRS, but Perez doesn't look like he'll need any DRS. He's already there on the left-hand side trying to move. He takes the lead by half a car, but backs out of it, brakes early, and we go back through to the Scari. But we have to lift here in order to actually make the corner. So there goes Perez. Once again, briefly looking to the left, and there he is now on the left once again. He's pulling past us. The Honda engine in the back of that Red Bull just too strong for our McLaren. And here comes the Mercedes of Bottas. It went 3 abreast briefly. Perez gets in front of us. Bottas jots back, and Sergio Perez now leads the Italian Grand Prix. We're going to try and get a good run at him down towards turn number 1 as Perez leads the first lap of this race, but only just. He's less than a tenth in front of us here, so we have to be very good on the braking once again. We've got the ERS, that's the only thing keeping us with him right now. We're going to pull to the left-hand side. Perez brakes a lot earlier than we do once again. He goes over the curve a bit there. Side by side, there's a bit of contact, and we just take the lead for the moment, but only for the moment. Here goes Perez back on the right. We've got a warning for collision with Perez there, so that's fair enough. And there comes Bottas, past us as well through Curva Grande. That's us down to 3rd now, so things haven't been done too well. We've lost a place on this start, but hopefully we'll be able to get that back. So we dive to the inside of Bottas. We were on the left of him going into the chicane, and it's nice and smooth. Bottas has to back out. We're still Perez in the lead here, so we're chasing him down. And now it's going towards the end of lap number 2, heading towards Parabolica here. We're going to pull to the right-hand side with the use of the ERS. We've got under half of our ERS left, and now just over because of the braking. We've managed to find our way through though on the inside of Parabolica, and we retake the lead of the Grand Prix. And Perez is going to be all over us here. He's already making a move back to the right as we begin lap number 3. We set the fastest lap of the race. We've got another fresh set of ERS. Ready to go another round with the Mexican towards turn number 1. Once again, we're on the left-hand side, and this time we're a lot closer to Perez. We break around the same time as he does, so we're going to stay with him here. But he goes over the curb once again. No contact this time. Looks like it'll be okay. I think Perez might just get a better drive off, and he does get the better traction away from the corner. So we're stuck here, still holding on to second place. But it's not over yet as we fly through Carla Grande here. I'm going to try and make a move to the right-hand side of the track. I'm going to be very tight going to the chain. We're side by side. Perez brakes earlier. We're going to try and leave him as much space as we can without going over the curb too much. And that's a nice clean overtake there. And we've retaken the lead of the Grand Prix. We're pushing further on now through the 2 Lesmos. We have to be very careful because Perez is going to have DRS on us this time. It's definitely going to be a tight one. So here we go now down towards Ascari once again. Perez is almost a second back, but he does have that DRS. We've used the ERS a decent amount throughout the course of the lap. Perez won't be able to make a move on us for the top spot, but I think we should be okay for the time being. But he's definitely going to close in, and that could give him a seriously good run as we go through Parabolica. So we've got nail Ascari here. Nice and smooth. We may have to lift a little bit. But here comes Perez though, charging back at us. The gap was almost a second, and now it's just under it. Now it's going down to 1/10 as Perez looks to the right, going down towards the final right-hander of Parabolica. He's still there on our inside. We go into the corner. We've got to shut him off. We get the better drive off around the outside, and we're going to hold on to the lead, but it's definitely not over yet because Perez is still all over us. He's got the DRS this time. The ERS is the only thing keeping us in contention, even without him having it. I think that now we've got no hope as Perez flies past us towards time. We've got a strategy change here. We're going to confirm the change, so I think we're going to put on lap 8 now, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I said on the thing. Perez goes over the curb, came very close to contact there, and this time we get the better drive off. The third time lucky, we now retake the lead, but Perez is still down the outside. He got a really good run there through Carla Grande, and he retakes top spot, and Bottas is still right behind us then. He might go over and move into the next chicane. If we try and get Perez from a long way back, going inside nice and clean, over the curb there, and it sort of force Perez a little bit. We go around the outside and retake the race lead, and that was a whole lap worth of battling there. That was really good stuff. And now moving further on towards the end of lap number 4 through Ascari once again. Perez is still right there with us. He's not been able to we've not been able to get away from this whole race because he's in a much stronger Red Bull compared to our McLaren. But our McLaren is still relatively strong, but compared to the Red Bull, we're no match for them. As Verstappen looks to pass Bottas behind them for third. Okay, so here we go now off Parabolica for the 4th time in this Grand Prix. This time we're going to have the DRS, so we have to be nice and careful here with this. A lot more speed towards turn 1. Perez has nothing. Of course, we have very low ERS, so that won't be an issue. Yellow flag behind us, not quite sure what's going on. We're trying to retake the lead in front. And no contact between us and Perez. They're still holding on. He goes over the curb once again, and this time since we're on the outside, we're going to get a better drive off. Verstappen's dropping back here, not quite sure what's happened. I think he might be the reason for the caution, and that might be good for Perez because of course going into this one, these two are tied in the World Championship, so this will be especially good for for Perez, and it is Verstappen out of the race, and that will be all Sergio Perez wants to see in the way of the championship. Of course, he won't want to see his teammate out of the race. Regardless, he's got to push on and focus because not only has he got to try and pass us, he's got Bottas haranguing him for 2nd place. So while the Dutchman retires from the Grand Prix, we've got to fend off these two who have DRS. We've only got a quarter of our ERS left at this point, so we definitely have to do some saving here before we can really have another chance again. Here comes Perez to the left, looking into Ascari. It's going to be nice and tight. We brake a bit. We braked multiple times there, just to not sure why. We just come up brake multiple times. But Perez, thanks to that, is still there with us. I felt we could have overshot Ascari if we didn't do that. So good on us. We're still staying in the race, and Perez isn't making a move yet. He's 2/10 behind, and so that's just not enough. We've gone at a bit of a poor exit to Ascari. As Perez is going to have a good run on us as it is with the DRS, as will Bottas, who's less than half a second behind. It's Hamilton still in 4th, and Gasly's now moving inside the top 5 thanks to Verstappen's retirement. Perez breezes past us on the right hand side. We've got nothing left to stop him, and there goes Bottas as well. We're going to dive to the inside of Bottas and potentially of Perez. And well, that may have been one dive too many. We've hit his back tyre. We're out of 2nd. We're now out of the 3rd. We're down to 4th place. We're battling Lewis off next to the corner, and things have gone wrong there in the space of just a matter of seconds. And that dive on Perez was just one dive too many, unfortunately. So we are now stuck battling Hamilton for the last spot on the podium. He's got us there on the inside. He's sort of steered a bit. He had a bit of a jerky steering there going towards the chicane, but we've managed to get in front of him. But that is unfortunate because that leaves us with a lot of work to do here because we're now stuck behind both Bottas and Perez. But right now, we have to focus on that because we're coming in on lap number 8, plus 4 a few laps for our first and only stop of the race. Carlos Sainz and Yuki Tsunoda were making their way in behind us as Vettel and Vettel moves ahead of us there into the pits to come, but the team have got a front wing change ready for us. Not quite sure why. We don't have any damage even from the contact with Perez. We have no real damage that's been impacting us throughout the race, but they're going for a front wing change. I'm assuming it must have been something minimal, but for some reason they've gone for the change, and we've lost a number of spaces there because both Tsunoda and Sainz, who came in behind us, are now out in front, and that's going to shove us all the way down, maybe even outside the points for us. We've got Alonso just in front of us, and that's going to show us just outside the points in P11, and that's going to give us a lot of work to do here in these closing stages. We've only got 5 more laps to go on these medium tyres. They'll try and get us to the end. They'll definitely get us to the end of the Grand Prix. They come out just behind Yuki Tsunoda, so we're going to try and make a move on him further on into the lap. Now we've got the DRS heading towards the sky. We're going to open up our ERS. We've saved a little bit, but we still haven't got much left. So we have to be very conservative over the last few laps, and then perhaps on the last lap if we have enough we can go through for a full charge. Tsunoda, we get past him nice and easy. That's us back up into the points here, but it's not over yet. We've got a large train in front of us here. Gasly, Ricciardo, both Ferraris, and I'm not even sure who's in this pack. Yeah, both Ferraris, Leclerc and Sainz both up there, as is our new teammate Daniel Ricciardo. It's a 4-car pack. We did get all 4 of them. I thought there was someone else in front. But there we go around the outside of Gasly. That's one of them done. Around the outside of Leclerc off Parabolica. He falls into the pits. His day's done for the time being in battling for points. Here we go, battling Sainz here. Tsunoda's there. Sorry, Gasly's there on our right. There goes Vettel out on the racetrack, and that could have been very scary. Sainz moves up in front of us, and we're going to duck to the inside of Sainz. We've learned our lesson this time. Only battling these two, going 3 wide into turn 1. I'm not trying to go for a dive from Ricciardo. Just don't want to jeopardise our teammate at any point during this race. But moving on towards the end of lap number 10 now, we have caught Ricciardo, and off Parabolica we're trying to make a move going into turn 1, and then it's Hamilton up the road. So a podium is definitely still on the cards, but it is frustrating. The race victory's been taken out of our hands today. We could have won this race. We've still got 3 laps to go here. We can still try and get a podium finish, and that'll be our first podium in Formula 1. Let's not overlook that. We're going to go to the inside of Ricciardo in turn 1. Nice and easy there. Job done on our new teammate. So now we've got to chase after Hamilton here for just a couple more laps to go now. So pushing on here towards the end of lap number 12. We're chasing Lewis down towards the Ascari. We've finally closed on him. With a bit of contact there towards the Ascari. We've definitely a bit of wheel banging. We've managed to get through nice and easy there. Purple sector 2 as well, so we're definitely fast. But it's definitely not over yet. Here we go now to start the final lap of this Grand Prix. And Lewis is already looking around. He's got a great run with the DRS. And down towards turn 1, he takes it. So ducks to the inside though. He's locked up. And it's going to give us a great opportunity to slide through and try and take 3rd spot. Gone way wide through turn 2, but Lewis got an even worse exit. So we're going to jump up into P3. So here we go now for the last lap of the race. Bottas and Perez are fighting for the victory in front of us. We've got to be careful with the ERS because Jeff mentioned a problem when we were passing Ricciardo, if I'm not mistaken. Down towards the came for the last time. We're staying in front of Lewis. He's choosing not to make a move. We've made no mistakes so far. We've got to hold on to what we've got, but down towards the Sky is where he's going to try and make an attack. And it would be an easy attack for him because he's right there. We are essentially sitting ducks. He's going to make our way down through the right-hander and into this DRS straight for the final time. We have to use the ERS we've got in order to try and stay in front. But I think there we go, enabling overtake mode. Lewis is looking around. We've had our one move trying to defend. Here comes Ricciardo to our left as well. He's trying to take it 3 abreast into Ascari. We've gone over the curb there. We've managed to cut in front of Lewis. Ricciardo drops back. Sainz now moves into P5. I think that might be all that Lewis can throw us here. He's going to make a way towards Parabolica for the final time. He's going to look to the right-hand side though. It's not over yet. Will Sainz try and go for a move as well? Could it go 3 abreast into Parabolica? The last corner as Perez goes on to win the race in front of us from Bottas. But who's going to come in 3rd? We go around the outside of Lewis, and that might just be all it takes to take our first podium in Formula 1 over the line in our first race for McLaren. P3 at the Italian Grand Prix, and that was a really exciting race. Of course, there were a couple mitigating circumstances in the way there that I really feel could have jeopardised our chances at taking the race victory, potentially even 2nd place. But right now, I'll definitely take what we got there. So Perez wins the race then from Bottas in 2nd and us in 3rd, and that now exceeds our previous best finish of 5th in Belgium, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, really good stuff there from Perez to take the win today. But of course, great race from us as well to finish on the podium and in Monza of all places. Great stuff. So Perez received the trophy, and Red Bull were going home with mixed feelings considering Verstappen was a DNF from the race, finishing last, and Perez now full 25 points clear in the Drivers' Championship. So there we go then. Perez wins, and Bottas, ourselves, Hamilton 4th, Sainz in 5th, Ricciardo in 6th. That late move did kind of jeopardise him and losing a couple of spots. It's Pierre Gasly in 7th then for AlphaTauri, Yuki Tsunoda 8th, Sebastian Vettel 9th, and Antonio Giovinazzi rounds out your top 10. So having a look now at the Drivers' Championship, it is Perez who leads then with 25 points in front of Verstappen. Hamilton back there in 3rd, and we move up. We stay in 10th place. We've closed in a lot on Pierre Gasly. We're now just 3 points behind him. There's a chance of us even potentially catching Ricciardo later on in the season, so that'll be our goal for the remainder of this championship. And then look at the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull still way out in front, 80 points over Mercedes. Ferrari in third and McLaren fourth. We're going to try and close in on Ferrari over the next few races. But all in all, really good race and a really good debut for McLaren.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. Everything went your way today. It looked like you had a really good strategy for the race. You're beating all expectations. Would you say we all underestimated you? How are you finding things at your new team? Are you settling in? Great. Well, that's everything.
So there we go then, a look at the rivalry breakdown after that race. Of course, we beat Alonso easily 5-2, and that allows us to gain an even bigger advantage in said rivalry, 23-11 with 3 rounds to go. And once that one's over, we'll be able to pick a rivalry that's a bit closer to us now in McLaren. Our driver claim goes up to, or almost goes to level 10, we're just about a little bit off. So there we are then, back in the team HQ for we're just getting ready for the next round in Russia. Of course, the ERS fault later on in the race, didn't really mention it too much, but we managed to go without it. So still R&D, we've got following award 400 resource points. We've got just under 3k in the bank. We've got another 1,000 or so from that last race. So we're going to invest some of that into some decent upgrades here. So have a look now at the powertrain. I'm going to try and get a whole upgrade through on that. That's a good 2,000 resource points out of our bank. But that's a major upgrade. So that should definitely help us close in on Ferrari. That could potentially make us the 3rd best team. With how close it is, we could potentially become the best team towards the end of the season. Who knows? But regardless, we're going to advance time here, and then some of these upgrades that will come through. Gearbox stuff, energy store stuff, all good. And we've got our weekly resources as always, and we get ready now for the Russian Grand Prix. Looking all good. So that'll be our next episode. I'm really looking forward to it. I hope you guys are too. Now, one more look here at just through the faction stuff before we sign off. Have a quick look at anything we could do with the R&D stuff. But I think it would appear we don't have enough resource points to actually be able to do anything with it. I'm not entirely sure. Let's have a look. No, I do think that is all we can do with it, which is very unfortunate, but we do move. But you know, really good stuff there. I've really enjoyed today's episode. Hope you guys have too. So if you did enjoy it, you guys. Oh, hang on a minute. We've got retirement news. Kimi Raikkonen's retiring from the sport. Oh, here we go. I thought I was about to sign things off. So there we go then for you. A new bit of news for the next episode. Kimi Raikkonen's retiring from at the end of the season. So I'll definitely check up the driver transfers. Even if we choose to say McLaren. But with that, you guys, regardless, that is the end of the video. I do hope you have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're pushing to try and reach 1,000 subscribers as soon as we can, and just make sure all the stuff you usually do, because I do appreciate the support you guys give me on this. So with that, you guys, thanks so much for watching, and I shall see you in my next video. See you later, guys. Goodbye.